What a place this is, this giant called Colorado. It has mountains 3 miles high and men who walk 10 feet tall in pride and honor. It has preserved the yesterdays with a crisp freshness of tomorrows, and the days before the yesterdays are even more sacred to the people of this lovely state. Timbuktu, that's in Africa, but it's here at the Great Sand Dunes if you imagine it to be. Here where the trees are green, the skies are blue, the streams are swift. They're all here awaiting you when you answer the call of Colorado.
Let's get it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into the DNBA live show, the Casual Friday edition, presented by Illegal Beats.
Oh, what's up, Serbia?
Gets worse every time. What's up, Serbia? Serbia in the house. These Friday shows, they can finally tune in. I've been wondering where they've been. I'm joined, by, as always, by my esteemed colleagues. To my top right, you know him as D-Line Co. It's Eric.
So esteemed, did you guys hear I participated in the air horn today? It's Casual Friday, baby.
Yeah. Get your hair down. Get those beautiful locks down. To the bottom right, it's Brendan Vogt.
What's cracking, fellas? I'm ready to have some fun.
Me too. I'm in the mood for some fun. Down there to the left, not showing off his hair, but the beard's looking very nice and tight.
Thank you. We've got maybe I'll let the hair fly today.
Wow.
Because we've got 3 days remaining without the hair. Today, tomorrow, Sunday. Monday, it's cutting off.
Oh,
You're going to the barber, huh?
Monday. It's going down.
Going high and tight again. Unbelievable.
I think I'm just gonna keep mine going.
I was going to say, I wonder how many people this is like a chance for them to really check out what they look like with a different hairdo.
I've been saying this.
When was the last time you changed your hair, Brendan, like your hairstyle?
I actually kind of change it all the time because I'll get it cut short and then I'll just let it grow for months and months and months until the people around me can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of get a different haircut.
Yeah, it is a hazard. I haven't changed my hair in forever. Like I was just going with the same haircut since 8th grade.
This would be the time to do it, because don't you feel like if you change up your hairstyle during a Nugget season, people would just rip you for it every single day?
Absolutely. It's like my mustache.
Your mustache the one day you tried
Well, I was going to keep it going, and then it was my first time meeting Seth Partnow, and I was like, I can't have this stupid goddamn thing on my face.
Today's episode of the show is going to be a wild one. There's some topics to talk about. We've been getting back to basketball, and it feels good to be back into basketball. And we have
wild.
Basketball topics. I know it might be pointless that we're back into basketball, but we have dove in, and it's felt good. We're going to talk about the NBA's opened up training facilities. We're going to play some games later on, and then later on, hopefully, somebody's going to try to challenge the steps. If you want to join the show, I'm going to put the link. Actually, can you do this, Vote? Can you put the link into the Discord?
Hey, yeah, sure.
If you're a DNVR member, you're in the lounge, and come and join us because we'll take guests on. You can do segments with us. You can talk about these topics. But I want to start at the news of the day, which is that the practice facilities are starting to open. It was supposed to be the Nuggets were opening today. I think the Cavs, Nuggets. Do you remember who there was a third team that was opening up early. I can't remember who it was. Cavs, Nuggets. I can't remember.
Atlanta?
I don't think it was Atlanta. 3 teams. Maybe it was Atlanta.
Probably not the Knicks.
Probably not the Knicks. They will be probably the last team to open up. Somebody's telling me Portland. Maybe that was it. But
yeah, I think it might have been Portland.
So 3 teams opening up their facilities, although Denver has now pushed it to Monday, I think, because people weren't interested. But here's what's weird. There was the article about how this is going down or what sort of the protocols are. Makes me think it's kind of pointless. Let me let me give you the list of things that have to happen here. I had them pulled up on my computer. Okay. No, that's not the thing I had. Okay, players will have to show up dressed for their workouts. They won't be allowed to go into the locker rooms and to change. So you got to show up like middle school where you're already in your uniforms or whatever. Not allowed to shower or do the whirlpools or any of that kind of thing. Each player will have their own basketball that they'll use for the duration of the work.
Yeah, it's not going to work. You can probably just stop.
Only 6 player development coaches will be allowed in, not the head coach, the player development coaches, and they'll have to stay 12 feet apart and wear masks and gloves. And then there'll be temperature checks for everyone, as well as additional cardiac screenings when appropriate. So it's a lot of stuff going on for what sounds like a really, really not great workout. I'm gonna ask the obvious question: is this pointless that the NBA is doing this? Only some teams can do it, and this is what you get?
It's not pointless because they need to make this
Symbolic.
option available for guys who are in Denver who don't have access to a private gym, like Vlatko Čančar, who Michael Malone talked about on that media call the other week. You know, he's alone in Denver, has been here for 6 months since he came over from Slovenia. Like, just doesn't have a lot of options, so he has to, have that availability. But it is a little pointless, and this is what I wrote about the other day. Like, guys are spread throughout the country right now. Guys are using private gyms where they don't have to go through all these protocols.
Exactly.
The NBA, it's impossible for them to police this with all their players throughout the entire country. So that's why I just don't think many players are going to utilize this. They have to jump through just too many hoops, travel back to Denver, go through all these protocols. Instead, they can just stay in some place like Arizona and play pickup like they've been doing normally. It just seems like a lot easier. It's not the safest approach, but, I mean, it's what guys are doing and what I think they'll continue to do.
It sounds like this is why the Nuggets pushed it back to Monday, was because it was like, okay, this kind of got dropped suddenly. Nobody seems to want to come in. So let's just, all right, we'll give everybody 3 more days to decide if they want to use this.
I mean, don't you think it's largely symbolic in a way, right? It's just showing that we're things are starting to move, giving people hope that we'll get through this. Obviously, it's hard enough to work out, generally speaking, if you put 18 different ways that they're hoops that they have to jump through just to do it. But it's just it's we're talking about it. It's like, oh yeah, wow, the NBA may come back again, although it's based on nothing, which is just throwing everybody above.
They also have that pressure now to do something because the NFL and the MLB, who were in different points in their season, right, can start making decisions about how to start a season, which is a completely different conversation. You have Silver's taking some heat from some people. You have other commissioners making moves to get things going again. Silver's job is a little more complicated. Something like this, it's a small gesture, it's symbolic, it's a Hayward trying, the gears are turning. But I'm with you, Adam, and I think Harrison nailed it. If I'm a player who hypothetically was violating this protocol and these guidelines anyway to get my workouts in, I'm just going to keep doing that in a place where no one can tell me.
I mean, this might be symbolic on the surface, guys, but I don't think this is necessarily the NBA taking a step to get closer to coming back. If you guys remember, this was something the NBA did in response to Georgia easing its stay-at-home orders.
Right.
And the reporting was that teams were getting calls from their players saying, hey, should I fly down to Georgia so I can at least shoot on a hoop once their gyms open up, because I can't do that where I am right now? That's why this move was made by the league, to inquire if they could open practice facilities to keep players in-house and keep a flock of players from going to Georgia. So, I mean, it might be symbolic on the surface, but I don't think this is a step that means they're closer to coming back.
Right.
No,
Yeah. And it also, if you're a player and they're like, look, it's safe. You can go into the facility, but just, stay 12 feet apart from everybody, come fully dressed. Don't touch anything other than the one basketball, and your coaches are going to be fully geared. It's like, when you get the old joke, I think it's the Robin Williams joke, where you hop in the X-ray thing, and they're like, don't worry, it's perfectly safe. Here's a little metal thing to put over your groin. I'm going to go behind the concrete wall, but don't worry, you're perfectly safe out there. It's kind of it kind of reminds me of that. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of hesitation from some players to be like, this is a dumb workout. And also, it doesn't sound like it's that safe if these crazy precautions have to be taken.
Yeah. So go ahead, Vote.
I feel like if we're wearing gloves and checking to see if you're 0.01 over 99 degrees, maybe just don't do it.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and start bringing some people on, because we got a lot in the queue today. I like it. The Friday show, people know they're coming on, and we're going to start with the Hamburglar. He was the first one in, the Hamburglar, everybody's favorite.
Really?
All right,
cool.
I need
Hey.
Sticker recipient Hamburglar.
Yeah.
Owner of sticker.
Oh, look at that.
Look at this man.
I
Look at
guess it
his
is
shirt,
new.
too. Look at his shirt. He took
This
that
guy
dumb
knows
on
what show he's on.
He's DNVRing so hard.
Oh my god,
So hard. My goodness.
I feel like a little
Got a lot
outclassed.
going on, guys. I gotta do something,
What do you think, Hamburglar? Do you want us to call you Hamburglar? Is that just the preferred name?
That works. I like it, man.
All right. So,
100%. Let's do it. Why not?
what do you think
Why
about this training facilities opening up? He's like, hold on, let me get one more strawberry sky down before I do this.
He's like, people got to be safe.
This clock just hit 12:12, so
this is the take fuel. Okay, this is where the takes come from right here.
All right, sounds good. Oh, look, Lindsay says. So, what do you think? Is this? I mean, I think like 4 days ago, when this first came out, I was like, all right, maybe some positive momentum. But then as the details come out, I'm like, this seems like just such a total show.
I think it's an absolute disgrace. And I think the funny part was like what Harrison was saying about like, oh, we're just gonna go fly to Atlanta so we can work out. It's like, okay, well, I don't know. Like Harrison said, they're gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. And I think a lot of it's just symbolic. And people are just getting tired. When we said, hey, this is quarantine time, we have to wait, social distance to kind of wait everything out. I don't think everyone realized it was going to be quite this long. And people are getting a little impatient and starting to flex the rules a little bit.
So?
Like, oh, yeah. Like, my girlfriend's like, oh, I want to go home. Like, should we fly? And I'm like, no, definitely not.
Oh, man.
You're like, we can't go home. Yeah. We have to go be part of this protest in front of the.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. We got stuff going on. All right. Come on.
It is true, though, man. There are like a lot of it does seem like a lot of people are starting to just relax. They're, mentally and everything in it. I don't know. It's such a weird time. It's such an absolutely bizarre time. Another thing that happened in this story is that Luka flew home. And I was told, and I think everybody was under the assumption this wasn't supposed to happen. Every player has to stay within the U.S., unless I guess you're in Toronto. You could be in Toronto.
Did the Hamburglar just fly home?
Yeah, I think he did. Well, that was good. Thanks so much, Hamburglar. That was look what we have here. Okay.
Dog just a dog
Friday on the show.
Okay. Is it Grimace? Isn't that the other character from the McDonald's world?
Oh my gosh! Yes. I should have totally done that.
Filled with regret.
No, but Luka flew home. He got a private jet and flew to Slovenia. Which, first of all, I know he has money, but a private jet to Slovenia—that sounds expensive.
Yeah. He's only on a rookie deal, guys. He's only on a rookie deal. But I mean, I guess this just goes back to what I was saying, and the NBA just can't keep tabs on all their players. Like, I guess they can say you're not allowed to travel internationally, but I mean, if you hit up a private jet and you pay it yourself and the team doesn't help you out, I mean, why can't you?
Well, they can't. Yeah, they can't not let you go. They're not gonna, I mean, they would strongly discourage you from doing that, but I don't think they were going to send the authorities.
Shout out Luka, who just a couple years into his career looked around and thought, "Yeah, I don't have to follow those rules. I'm good."
I think Jokic is definitely looking at this.
A real maverick, you might say.
What the heck, man?
I know. Jokic furious right now. He's like, that was an option?
Yeah. We were joking that he was Googling if you can catch coronavirus from a horse. It's his level of concern.
I think it's a strong suggestion that you think Jokic is actually like aware of the news and is like paying attention to any of this. I don't think that's happening at all.
Well, he's definitely like noticed that he hasn't left his apartment. He's probably happy about it, but
I don't know.
Not a lot of follow-up questions. Like, facilities are closed? Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on his like third Pokemon playthrough and was just doing his thing, man.
Definitely think Nuggets PR is like, do you have any questions for us? He's like, no. Are you
stay home?
You're sure you don't have any questions? Like, all right. Hamburger, we got a long queue, so before we let you go, do you have any like Nuggets specific questions before you polish off your?
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Did you drink this whole beer with like?
It's 12:15.
It's impressive. It's your Friday. I'm with
It's my girlfriend's birthday. I gotta cook. I gotta do a bunch of stuff today, so I gotta get ready.
Best be hammered for that.
Yeah, I don't want to be sober.
She likes me. I think she likes me more that way.
I support everything you've done on this podcast. So
thanks, buddy. I appreciate it.
Great appearance.
Yeah, Nuggets wise, not really. The more we are without it, I think I've just gotten more. I don't know, less of a believer. Talking about that too. Talking about the whole Jamal Murray thing. And his ceiling and just where the team is. I don't know. I think I'm getting more pessimistic about it without basketball being here.
Me too, man. We need those playoffs. Yeah. We need to see Jokic be the sixth best guy in the world for 14 games.
I'm telling you guys, if this season would have ended on January 24th, we'd have been like, man, the Nuggets were winning a championship. Because that was figured out.
Here comes MPJ.
Murray was out. It's like, imagine what happens once Murray comes back. Like, I think it was just the fact that the Nuggets season ended on arguably the lowest point. Maybe the December 4th when Jokic was like still in his funk. Maybe that was a lower point, but it ended at the point where we're all just kind of like, I don't know. So
it's hard.
I think there's better. But Hamburglar, thanks so
This
much,
helps,
man.
though. You guys help a lot. So I really
Hey, thanks for hanging out, brother.
boys.
Always a
Have a good
pleasure.
Adios, amigo. Harrison, why don't you take us into a break? We have a bunch of people on, so we're gonna go rapid fire with some of our guests.
But make this break, make it sexy. Make this actually
Really,
sexy.
that's why I put the sexy music on.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving me as much of a heads up on that break as you did. So yeah, that was.
Are you ready? Are you ready to go?
Yeah, to go up. Can I tell you something, Harrison? Always be ready, man.
What's that?
Always be ready.
What's that?
Always be closing, Harrison.
So, guys, we know that the Breck Brew Farmhouse is open. We know that liquor stores are still open.
I love how he does these reads. We do know that.
We do know that. Common knowledge.
We do.
Yeah,
Everybody's
if you're
talking about.
this could be good for the Hamburglar if he's looking to get through the weekend not sober. But if you guys are looking to pick up some beers to enjoy this weekend, hit up the 15-can sampler from
This music is
Breck
way too
Brewing. I don't know
sexy
about
for
you
the
guys, but I
delivery
always
that
go for the
Lynn's given
sampler.
me.
Yeah, the sampler rules, bro.
gonna be the
Mostly
backing
because I don't like responsibility or decision making.
No responsibility.
So it's
Don't you like choices? Don't you like choices in your life?
yeah.
Everybody has
You
choice.
can
Choices
get that
are
with the. You can get that with the 15-can sampler.
Hey, it's my birthday on Sunday.
It is?
Do you guys want to do a virtual power hour?
Definitely. Is that even a question?
Definitely
Alright, cool.
not streamed. This will not be a live.
no,
live
just the
stream.
floor of it.
If we're doing that with Breck Brew, though, that might be a tough power hour.
It
Oh my
needs to
God,
be
that's really
strict
tough.
Mile High cities, or I don't have a chance.
The Hamburger has to come. I think he just performed a power.
He's
like,
halfway there. Yeah.
That was like a power 10 minutes. It was unbelievable.
What a drop in.
What a drop in.
Yeah, also, guys, if you're not in on WGT, DNVRgolf.com, that's where you can download WGT from. Awesome game, and you can compete against us.
Too bad we're gonna beat you though, because we're all really good, especially Harris.
Adam, dude, Harrison took the crown. Adam beat me by a single solitary stroke.
You guys
And
have no idea how much it actually bothers Eric that I do.
And I choked it on a 2-foot putt. I want to kill myself. I didn't know.
Why didn't you take the gimme? That's an option. We'll talk about it later.
No, you don't. Gimme. That's a coward's move. Are you kidding? I actually get pissed when you play it.
Bro,
Somebody
if
gets
you-
gimme.
It's when you get to a certain level, your gimme radius goes in and in and in. You know what I mean?
What?
So if you're a lower level, you get a
You get a
gimme from
larger gimme.
5 feet, but if you're
Oh, I
level
see.
20 and above, you only get gimmies from 3 feet in it.
Oh, I like that.
Hey, if you've got a 2-foot punt to sink it, and the gimme button's right there, you press the gimme button.
I can't
I-
believe this.
Yo, I didn't know he was we were in such close competition. I would have. I don't want to talk about it.
You'll get another chance next weekend, Eric.
WGT though, definitely download it. Check it out. All right, let's bring on Jarrett. We have Jarrett in the chat. Next guy up. Next man up. We have a next man up. Oh, see.
Jarrett, what's up,
What's
brother?
up, Jarrett?
How's it going?
What's up,
Hey,
you good,
man.
brother? Are you gonna get rapid fire drunk? I know that you're underage, but this is
I
this
ran
is
out of
No Rules
Breck
Friday.
Brew a couple days ago.
Oh no!
I know.
Oh no! What a
Tragedy.
tragedy. Heading into the weekend, nonetheless. Big
Well,
plans. Big plans for the weekend, Jarrett.
Not too much. Just
You gonna show
finish
up
up
to
with
play?
school.
No.
Oh, you finished up with school.
Yeah, getting my bachelor's next week.
Oh,
nice!
dude, congrats! That's awesome, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hey, congrats,
that's
man.
dope.
I need
Well,
a
you're
lot-
entering the world at a very exciting
I know, it's a
and
great
prosperous
time.
time.
Great
Yeah.
Well, that's great. What's your degree in?
Audio engineering.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
sweet.
Dude, do you want to do our podcast? Hang on, we'll talk about it after the show.
Behind the scenes. So the other news, the topic that's next up on this list for me is the Game of Zones. Did you guys see it?
I
Of
have only
course,
seen
man.
the
Of
debut.
course.
You've only
Like
seen
way
the first
back,
ever
way
episode?
back. Yeah,
Oh,
the
geez,
Milwaukee
okay.
Bucks one.
No, perfect
I
that we
don't
brought you on for this part of it.
I have not seen. I don't watch them either. I don't care.
All right. Well, I guess we're
yes.
moving right on. There wasn't. My only question was going to be are you in or out on Game of Zones? And it sounds like everybody is out. So
I was
in.
totally in on
It was
Game
alright.
of Zones. Are
It
you
wasn't
kidding me? Episode 2 was might have been the funniest Game of Zones episode in quite a while. It was
this
hilarious.
one, this came out. You're saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
basically,
Media Dell.
yeah,
Are they still following the books, or?
Yeah.
I don't know because I never watched Game of
It's
Zones
canon.
or Game of Thrones.
All right. Coming up is the Last Dance. We can move on to this one. This episode, they teased out that it's the Punching Steve Kerr episode, which should be fun. But here's my best little bit of it. The director is shocked that MJ approved of this. He says, when you see the episode next week, you'll be surprised. Maybe Jordan skipped episode 7, but I can't believe he didn't block it. And then he says down here, and there's things in there, there's language in there that I'm shocked ESPN let us keep in, and there's behavior in there that I'm shocked Michael let us keep in.
You know what that tells me? That Mike has blocked a lot of stuff in the other episodes.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's like,
it's about time, man. It's about time we're getting some of this stuff. Because I feel like this is what was teased about, and we haven't really got that much of it.
Yeah.
So thank God. It's about time.
What do you think, Jarrett? Are we going to see the real Michael? Are we going to see some bad things?
I don't know. I've heard some interesting stuff about Scotty coming up in this episode as well. So maybe this is just kind of the let it loose episode finally.
Well, we do know that Scotty in, I believe, 94 or 95, I think it was 94 actually, yeah, that he, Phil Jackson called a timeout, down one, and he drew up a play for Tony Kukoc. And so you know the story with Tony Kukoc and how they felt disrespected. So for in this big moment, Michael's not there, Scotty didn't do it. So I think that'll be in there, and I wonder if it does, because Scotty has kind of been the hero. Wouldn't you guys say? Is Scotty
he's come off the big winner.
Yeah, everyone can come out pretty good.
Yeah.
So if he has this bad moment where everybody kind of maybe he gets knocked off his perch, but
I mean, there's a chance for Tony Kukoc to come out of this thing as just the real hero.
I already feel that way.
Teflon Tony.
Yeah. I kind of thought Scotty came off looking like a real jerk in the Kukoc episode. I mean, I get his internal motivation and as a competitor and where that's coming from, but just all these years later and cutting to Kukoc now, just I don't know what that was all about. You really felt like it was a bit much.
I have to say, Scottie Pippen, I always thought about as just sort of obviously the second banana on the really popular team. He always seems really quiet and nice, and through this entire series, he's a lot more intense and a lot more he's in people's faces, he's dunking on dudes and staring them down. I mean, and if you watched the Bulls during that time, maybe this was not a revelation to you, but for me, I was oh.
I think it's that he was a nice teammate. That's the contrast to Jordan, because he's a fierce competitor, but I think that Scotty is the guy that's not yelling at his teammates and trying to.
But Scotty has probably the most conflict with the GM, more so than Michael. I mean,
oh yeah, well he's the one that got shafted, really. So yeah.
So
my hypothesis is that Scottie Pippen has just a lot of built-up frustration from not getting the due he thinks, not getting the credit he thinks he should, just on this Bulls team, and then just all time. Because, he went to Portland after MJ retired the second time and led Portland to, the West Finals or the Finals?
Game 7 of the West Finals.
Game 7 of the West Finals. So,
Twice without Jordan, he got close. Yeah.
I've got to think, just in the grand scheme of things, Scotty thinks he should be getting more due.
Yeah.
And he's probably right.
It must be tough to be a legitimate lexicon, top 100 ever player for sure. But the
top
very
50.
right, absolutely. And the very first thing that someone thinks of when you bring up your name is someone else that you played with.
Jarrett, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being whatever happens in this episode is so mild that you don't even notice it, and 10 being everybody's perception of Jordan completely changes. How bad do you think he's going to come off? I mean, this is the director talking, saying he's shocked. Are you buying it?
I don't really think it could. On that scale, you could put it past maybe a 7 at the most, just because I think a lot of people's opinions are pretty set, and there have been a lot of people who have said.
Sure.
Why is he worried about coming off like an asshole? We all already thought he was that.
We're way ahead of you there, Mike.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe that's the highest, but I would expect maybe a 4 or 5.
Yeah. Okay. Jarrett, you're kind of a younger guy. Have you been annoyed at all at the discourse with around The Last Dance? Specifically, I'm thinking, we were talking about this the other day, but the Michael Wilbons, Mike Greenbergs, some of these guys have been. What happened, Harrison? I can't tell what that is.
Yeah, this is Kevin Durant replying to Matt Moore.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, wow, we have breaking news.
No disrespect, Jared. I gotta check that.
No, we gotta.
Allie, maybe you could find that tweet or something.
Can we get Matt Moore? Can we funnel him into the show really quickly?
What just happened? Is he getting dunked on by?
Did he tweet a graph or something?
Matt Moore tweets, as with KD, whatever Giannis does is his decision, and it isn't a moral choice. It's a professional choice which impacts his life, even if there are impacts on other people. I'll be disappointed like I was with KD if he bails, but not in him just if that happens. And Kevin Durant replies, sensitive ass.
Wow. Is he talking about himself? Because he was just defending
I can't
you.
stand this dude. I just can't stand him, man. Like I want to like him, but he's just so annoying.
You're talking about Matt Moore?
Jeez, man.
Let's get Matt on the show right now.
To live defend it. My goodness, man. KD just what a weird thing. Like that wasn't even that harsh. Matt's entitled to his opinion.
That was pretty nice.
Yeah, like Matt put the velvet gloves on. This is ridiculous, man. This is absolutely. What do you think of KD, Jared?
I actually am one of the few my age that kind of grew up the same mentality that old people say is an old mindset. So I root for the home team, and I grew up being a local fan and not a players fan. Around.
Okay.
So
you're anti-KD.
That's right. You're our guy.
Yeah,
he's cool to watch, but I want the Nuggets to win. I'm not gonna go watch every KD game and get a Brooklyn Nets jersey.
But is he insufferable? Because that's my problem with him. It's like I don't care to root for him.
He's got his moments where he's pretty insufferable.
Oh, he's just so sensitive.
I would say he's a sensitive ass.
Actually, exactly the phrase I would use.
Right.
KD is standing in a corner in his own volition and upset with his view or lack thereof. And it's like, dude, walk yourself out of the corner. Like this is your doing. Like just every day, man. Every day.
No saving that, dude. No, but are you annoyed at all? Like at some of the discourse around him, or maybe you're just oblivious to some of the things that the Greenbergs and the Wilbons have been saying.
What do you mean, like the constant defense?
Yeah, exactly. This is our moment to remind you kids that you don't know what real basketball is.
No, I don't think any of them gone too far with that angle of you don't know anything type. I think a lot of it's just been very. It's honestly, it is educational for me, so I take it like that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think for the documentary for sure has been that way.
Yeah.
There's some fact checking to be done, though. You know.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said a couple days ago, Brendan. It's on the viewer themselves to realize that this isn't a perfect historical account. It's not necessarily the documentary's job to do that.
Right. Yeah. This is almost like an entertainment. Special as much as
very entertaining.
There's no almost about it. It's
thank you, Eric. I hedge by nature as a journalist.
Right on. Any other question? Any Nuggets questions, Jared? Before we
this might be a little too in the future, but it always seems like the Nuggets have too many bench guards or bigs. So if they were looking to turn that into actual bench wings. Like it seems like everyone wants, which is why it's partially a little more scarce. Who would some of those guys be that are attainable, maybe not too good to force their hand to play more, but bench wings that they could go for?
Bench wings. So somebody off of the bench you're thinking, because I guess Michael Porter's going to be starting.
Yeah, well, because if you have that core of 3 or 4 guys, you're really only looking at rotating in and out bench pieces.
Right.
Man, it is a tough one. It is a tough one because I don't know that those guys are I don't know. I don't know if there's a name that you're going for because usually if there's a name,
they're good enough to
be a starter. So
I look at Robert Covington in Houston, and the Rockets could be looking totally different next season. D'Antoni could be gone. Who knows? They could have a coach in there like Jeff Van Gundy who wants to play an entirely different style. So they could look to offload some of their guys, and I think Covington might be a guy they look to offload.
And I think Covington takes a contract that puts him on the bench, though.
Well, he is already under contract. He's actually under a really nice $11-12 million contract for the next couple of years. So I think Covington can honestly be a guy in Denver who starts with MPJ at kind of the 2-3, or you could bring him off the bench and he'd be amazing.
Another name I think.
Gallinari.
Probably not attainable, but Bogdanovich would be a dream.
That would be sweet.
But that's closer to a pipe dream.
I wish Gallinari was just 2 years older because I do feel like in 2 years Gallo might be primed for a return to Denver. I know he kind of wanted out at the end,
a 15-20 minute role.
He's still pretty good though.
Yeah, exactly. He's a little too good. Maybe 2 years from now, he is more of a bench guy. 65, 70 games.
I was so ready. I fired up the Gallo back to Denver train, and then they
laid an egg in Denver, didn't he?
And then he played in Denver, and it was I was like, he can never come back. He can't come to dinner here.
Justin Holiday is another guy who's been in a bench role for the last couple of years.
Love this dude. I do. Understand the love that
I like Justin Holiday too.
He's really good, and he's in this undervalued, and nobody knows about him. And he's a free agent, and I bet somebody's gonna get him on an absolute bargain.
We need to get as many players in the NBA that have brothers who are also in the NBA. That could be Denver's corner. All right, Jared, thanks so much, man. Let's go. We got to cycle through, so thank you so much.
Enjoy your weekend, dude.
Let's bring on Justice for the for this next
Justice.
round.
Are we saying this right? Are we saying your name right?
Yeah, it's Justice.
Okay, cool.
How would you have guessed if you thought it was wrong? What would you?
No, I guessed Justice originally, but then in my head I'm like, this isn't like a justice situation. Like something,
interesting spelling.
Yeah.
It could be Serbian or something, and you didn't even.
Just want to make sure I'm not disrespecting our guy.
Yeah, shouts to our Serbian. We haven't had any Serbians on the show. I'm very, very curious. Maybe one day we'll get one on the Friday show.
No one wants to go on the steps at 4 a.m.
Good point. But I do want to play a game here we always do this in the off season. It's like max trade wave. I guess we could make it like like max maybe invite to camp and then wave. So it's just more like this guy is a long-term piece, this guy is a maybe, and then this guy is definitely not. And this is obviously for the Denver Nuggets. Justice, I'll let you answer first here. Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, Drew Holiday.
Chris Paul, Bradley Beal.
Wow.
What was it again? Max training camp cut or?
One of these guys. No, don't bring him anywhere near. One guy, it's like that's a big piece of the future. The other guy is. I guess it doesn't make sense to invite to. If you invited, like, say, Bradley Beal to training camp,
and then cut him.
Yeah, it didn't quite fit.
Bull, you're on, Bradley. Happy trails.
I think I'd get rid of Drew Holiday.
Okay.
First of all, and then I would pick Bradley Beal. I think over Chris Paul.
Okay.
It's a tough question.
Chris Paul's.
So wait, which one are you marrying?
Yeah, so you're married? Like, no, that's not right.
I'll marry Chris Paul. He's got a lot of money.
He's smart because he's got a good insurance. He's got good insurance policy, right?
Yeah.
Man, I think I'm Chris Paul, then Bradley Beal, then cutting Drew Holiday. I wonder how much of this is because of just the fun factor. Like, Drew Holiday is really good. I just don't think he'd be as fun.
That's a big part of it for a lot of people, I think.
I'm maxing Drew Holiday, guys. I'm maxing Drew Holiday.
I want Drew Holiday.
Really? I want to hear this argument. What is it?
Drew Holiday has way more length than Bradley Beal or Chris Paul. He's the best defender Chris Paul's a very good defender. I think Drew Holiday is a much more versatile and more valuable defender in a playoff environment, especially. Bradley Beal and Drew Holiday shot the same percentage from 3 each of the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's not accurate, though. I don't think. I know it's not fair to say, but come on.
What does that mean, though? That is true.
I think Drew Holiday will fit seamlessly in the Nuggets culture too.
Yeah, for sure.
My thing with Drew Holiday is he and the Pelicans clowned the Blazers. Like, shut Dame Lillard down to the point where you it's
2 years ago.
Forgot all the same. Like, that was so impressive to me, the way they just absolutely destroyed and dehumanized the Blazers, and specifically Dame Lillard. Like, I want that in Denver. I need that for me.
I also think if you're looking to, like, people, when talking about these big trades, it's Jamal or Gary, and then, like, a follow-up question is often what happens to the defense. But, Drew is Gary if you could switch Gary a little more, I mean, it's so from that sense, if, like, listening to Seth talk and then even Ryan last night, I really understood the argument for Drew, which is, like, if you're working with Murray at point of attack and Jokic as your rim protector, there are defensive deficiencies that you need versatile studs around them to really kind of mitigate.
The other thing, like, we never talk about it when you put together rosters on paper. Like, Drew Holiday has never had teammates turn on him. Like, he's a player.
That's a good point.
Chris Paul is like a really dominant personality, and he's like a dick, I mean, and sometimes that works if he's the alpha.
We just did this with Jimmy Butler. We were like, I don't know, he's kind of a mean guy, and then it's like, well, it turns out actually everybody in Minnesota was just soft. Like, sometimes having that guy for a little period.
I love that.
And another line that Harrison said was that
do we find that out about the Nuggets?
Well, hold on a second. Harrison said he would fit seamlessly into the Nuggets culture, and I think that's true. But does the Nuggets culture need to change a little bit? Like, we've all enjoyed this, like, oh, everybody's a nice guy. The locker room's good. Maybe they need that guy that mixes and changes it just a little bit. I kind of think they do.
How did that work? How did that work out for the Timberwolves?
Well, the Timberwolves, but except for I don't think the Nuggets have a Towns on their team, quite frankly.
The Timberwolves also were not at the level the Nuggets are currently at. The Timberwolves taking on Jimmy Butler would have been like the 2016-17 Nuggets taking on Jimmy Butler. And I don't think those situations would have ended well.
Also, could I chime in here? You know what happened when they got Jimmy Butler? They won more games than they had in a decade.
And they beat the Nuggets in game 82.
And they made the playoffs.
And they immediately went back when they lost them.
Yeah.
And then they completely imploded, and now they're in absolute disarray. Like,
well, Jimmy may be a psychopath, but that Miami thing is.
But you can't throw one jerk in the mix and then make everybody hard.
I don't know, man.
Not everyone
be jerk though. Like I think Chris Paul is a tough.
Oh, he's a jerk.
No. I don't think that's true. I think he's really hard on his teammates, and I think he can wear on you if you don't find that success, like at a certain point. But look, it's 2 years.
Isn't that what we're saying makes?
Yeah, but first of all, he has 2 years on his deal, so you're only talking about 2 years. Like even the annoying guys, like a lot of times you can handle him for 2 years, and then it's like, okay, now I'm sick of this guy. So
I don't know. Culture building. You're just trying to get that ring. And
just what you think is Chris Paul too much of a jerk?
I don't know, honestly. I'm from Oklahoma City, and I know all my friends like really love him right now, just because like, Paul George, Westbrook left, and so everybody's like not supporting the Thunder. And then all of a sudden, Chris Paul comes in, starts carrying the team, and then everyone's like, "Oh my God, Chris Paul's a god!" And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they're so good. And so I do think, I don't think he's in. When he was in Houston, I thought he was too hard, but now like seeing him like, since he's like the main alpha dog, like he's not sharing the spotlight with Harden, I feel like he doesn't seem as a jerk as he was before, and that might work on the Nuggets.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
You don't
I agree too.
I also think an important part is like, okay, let's do Murray Wiggins. Wiggins doesn't care about basketball. Murray does. Murray works very hard. Murray wants to be great. Jokic, I also think, for all the jokes we make about his lovable demeanor, is an undercover dog. And Jimmy Butler might care less that Jokic isn't wringing his sweat-drenched shirt on Instagram because he's actually winning games and hitting game-winning shots and caring. And
he also doesn't care if he's on the front page of the media guide. And that's the thing is like, I think Kat does. And I think if CP3 came here and Jokic would be like, "Oh yeah, you do the media, you do all this stuff, and you take all the credit. I don't care.
You can be the face of this. It's fine."
I think Jokic has proved himself as well. Like first team All NBA.
Yeah,
right.
He dominated the playoffs. Like Towns didn't have any of those accolades.
Chris Paul also once gave Jokic the most begrudging credit ever. I asked him in the locker room something about it, and he's like, "Yeah, Coach Mo got him playing good, Jokic and whatnot."
So I do think
you've won me over. That's max.
I do think we're at a point though now where like I think the best players in the world know. Like I think you play Jokic at this point and you're like, oh yeah, he's one of the dudes. Draymond called him one of the dudes, right?
Next one. Oh man, this is tough. So long term, maybe 1 year, and then you move on, and then the other guy you get rid of right now. Bol, Monte Morris, PJ Dozier.
Ooh.
This one's tough. This is a real kill your children moment.
Yeesh.
Bro, I just gotta
hate those moments.
Bol. Just to see him play once. I just want to see him play once.
You got to. Yeah, you got to, because I don't think Monte or PJ are like at a game-changing level enough to keep over Bol.
Right.
But are you, if you do the 1 year with Bol, that means that you lose him after a year.
Oh, you're right.
You have to either.
What are the choices? Long-term, 1 year, or cut?
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Long-term, 1 year.
Long-term, 1 year, or cut. 0 years.
So you only get to have a guy for a year, or they're just gone.
Yep.
Not very a lot of
Them's the rules.
Bol, Dozier, and Monte.
Nobody said it was easy.
I'm still keeping Bol. I don't care.
Love it.
You're keeping Bol. All right. Who do you stick with for 1 year, Dozier or Monte?
I'll stick with Monte. He's been good to us.
See in hell composure.
What do you think on this one, Eric?
It's tough, man. I mean, this is like all potential team, right?
Where
we've seen, but the difference is that we've actually seen PJ show us flashes of brilliance. Monte obviously
brilliance feels strong.
No, I don't. I think that
competence at the NBA level. Certainly,
I saw
very goodness.
Listen. I saw.
I love that Eric is so high on PJ.
I love it. I really do. I
I
really
am too,
love him.
though.
Like,
I'll be honest. I kind of am.
I love his body type. Like he's got intangibles that you obviously like. I
Yeah.
love how long he is. I love what a long boy he is.
Yeah, he
I
is a
love
long
that
boy.
He really did show. I love that. I mean, all jokes aside, I really did love the composure he showed when he came in and he was able to
great
run the show.
composure. Yeah.
And he, I mean, that's the reason that came about.
This stuff
Bol Bol
doesn't
is so
matter as much, but
tantalizing.
his post game after his first sort of breakout game for the Nuggets was just so impressive. Like, so many of these guys, their first few interviews with the media, they're like so uncomfortable. But Dozier was so confident.
He was
so
looking
calm.
forward to that.
I was just like, oh wow, this guy is kind of like a 10-year vet. With the
He's
media.
a 3-year
Yeah.
vet.
Yeah, he has been in the league for a while.
He likes the microphone. He likes the mics around, I think.
Yeah.
Bol Bol is by
So I don't
far
know,
the
man.
highest upside in this group, but
Absolutely.
he's also the highest risk. Like,
I think Justice has it right, man. I think Justice has it right. PJ needs time to develop, but the ceiling is nowhere near Bol Bol's.
Yeah, see,
Monte's your
I
player,
would, I'd agree. I'd keep Monte for a year and then just, the next year re-sign Dozier again on the cheap.
Yeah, after the Celtics cut him, just go ahead. And,
After he gets cut again.
that's not this pretty game. All right, Justice, thanks so much, man, for popping on. Did you have something?
We need to stop disrespecting Jamal Murray. I rewatched
Yeah.
the playoffs, and that game 2 is still insane. Like one of the most fun games ever. The step back to the right at the very end, and then he comes down, and Scott Hastings, he's like, "You gotta be careful, can't shoot it," and then he just pulls up for 3, and then I don't know. I just remember last year it was literally just Jamal Murray and Jokic, and everybody else was like, we're all like,
Yep.
"Where's everybody
Two-man
else?"
game.
But then this year we're like all on Jamal Murray.
important
Yeah.
PSA:
Yeah.
Wind is actually higher on Jamal than the rest of it. He sometimes gets lumped into this with us, but
I am too.
The other thing is, I would only defend myself by saying I don't think it's disrespect. It's my honest opinion.
not.
I think Jamal's really good.
It's
I think
definitely
Jamal's
not.
really.
It's not our job to like hype these guys beyond what they've proven, and he's proven at times to be an all-star.
But maybe we're wrong. Dude, I hope the most lit timeline is Jamal and Gary stay, and the Nuggets get it done.
Yeah, I held on to Moutier for too long, so
He's definitely not moody. All right, Justice, thanks so much. Allie, actually, so next let's go to Bucket since 88, because I see you, Peter, in the waiting room. There you go. I see you, Peter, in the waiting room, but you haven't played the steps yet, so I'm going to bring you on for the final segment, if that's cool with you. We'll do the steps. So, Bucket, what's happening?
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
I like the old school rainbow skyline.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
So we're playing this. You get the rule. You get the idea. Long term, 1 year, then you're then completely out of here. And I got coaching edition.
Uh-oh.
Michael Malone, Mike D'Antoni, and then Chris Finch. This last one was weird because I think Chris Finch just represents the mystery box.
Yeah,
new
you love
guy.
the potential. All
Yeah,
potential.
it could be, you just put any like filler potential good name but unproven young coach,
So long term, 1 year and cut.
and then just not in the equation at all. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna stick with what we got. Long term Malone, 1 year D'Antoni, see if you can upcharge the offense, and then we've seen Chris Finch here before. He was good, but he's unproven as head coach.
Yeah, I like it.
Good answers.
Do you think this has more to do with your sort of your personality? Like, are you a person that doesn't like risk, unnecessary risk?
Risk adverse.
Yeah, risk averse person.
That's definitely my personality.
It is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I do think questions like this say less about how you feel about the Nuggets and more about how you just feel about gambling in general. If you're just like, Hail Mary time, guys, let's do
And
it.
this segment is brought to you by DraftKings.
Well, wasn't it really criticized at the time when the Warriors fired Mark Jackson?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Of course. And then,
Yes.
but then stories started to come out. There was some stories that it was almost like Lacob and company started to, hey, well, just so you guys know, he really did some bad
Was the
things.
worst.
Yeah, and it's also
They're on
easier.
the way out.
Yeah,
it's also
exactly.
easier for those stories to come out when you hire Steve freaking Kerr to
Yeah.
when you hire a
Titles,
great
yeah.
coach.
But
He was thinking about the Warriors and the Knicks. That was crazy.
Yeah, but we also were talking about Jerry Krause and firing Collins after an incredibly successful season. So I guess maybe sometimes that happens. Let me see. Vote. I haven't heard from you for a bit. So Malone, D'Antoni, Finch. Do you have a take here?
I think, I've got to take Malone for 1 more year,
Yeah.
and then we're at the end of the road. Give me D'Antoni, change things up a little bit. Maybe see if you get a real elite offense around Yoke. Chris Finch. Again, like if we're talking head coach, I think it's a big in college football. You see guys are like perfect coordinators. They become the head coach, and it's not the gig for them.
Oh, 100%.
Do we know what
Mike
Chris
Daniels.
Finch is like as a motivator or a manager of egos, or you know what I'm saying? Like he may be an offensive genius, but do players want to play for him? And I almost think that
totally
stuff matters as much, if not more. So I'm done. So that's
I'm sticking with Malone, and I'm probably going Finch for a year, and I'm just kicking the can on D'Antoni.
wow.
That's exactly how.
D'Antoni's pretty old. I just don't know that he's like going to be a.
Ageist.
Yeah, I'm a bit of an ageist here. Yeah. We don't know how long Corona will be around. Sorry. Last one is a movie one. So we're going off a little bit. And this one is more of a rent, buy, ignore. Ocean's 11, Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels. Isn't it 2 Smoking Barrels?
Yep.
How many
Yes.
smoking barrels are there? 2.
Two.
And
And a
an
shotgun
Italian
there, too.
Job.
And what?
Italian Job. These are all heist movies.
Thanks, Adam.
First off, Buckets, have you seen these
these
movies?
all? And if not, just make it up. Pretend like you have.
So I own Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels.
Okay.
So I have to keep that one.
Great movie.
Probably. Oh man, they're both so good. But if I had to pick, I'd pick Italian Job just slightly over Ocean's 11.
Wow.
Ooh.
This is very controversial to me.
I
I'm
probably would have
taking-
booted you out of this chat. if
I'm
you-
taking Ocean's 11 long term.
I am too.
Booting Italian Job.
Yeah, I'm
To me,
booting
those are all A+ movies, though.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah,
they're
I
all
think-
actually really good.
I think you have to
Yeah.
look at which of these spawned a franchise, right?
That doesn't mean
Ocean's
anything.
11 spawned a franchise.
Ocean's 11 is so good though, man. I think it's a super
Yeah.
fun movie.
Also,
what I mean, it was good.
my broken brain just thinks of the Mark Wahlberg Italian Job.
Oh, that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, is it? I
Yeah,
thought that meant the
you
original.
know, old school.
and
Come
then
on,
they
like,
and
like the original.
it's a car chase with like in Fiats, right?
Mini Coopers, bro.
Oh, Mini Coopers. That's right. That's
Can I
right.
give a take? I'm not a huge Mark Wahlberg guy.
Yeah, that's a good
No.
take.
Okay, I
Mark
think
Wahlberg's
he's
not
a
a
bit of
huge
an
Mark
actor.
Wahlberg.
He's just way past his prime. Way past.
He's way past his prime. Wow.
Just wait until he makes a movie about how Boston handled the coronavirus.
I can't wait.
Oh my
Heroes.
god. Oh god. Any questions, Bucket? Any Nuggets questions before we
We gotta
move on to the
solve this
steps?
Corona.
I wanted to weigh in on the Monte versus PJ real quick.
Oh
Yeah.
I love Monte Morris, and I think we all can agree he's a better player right now than Dozier. But I just cannot get out of my mind how Monte played in the playoffs.
Mm.
And I think there's a lot to, what Draymond said about how there's
He was
82
lacking
game players,
composure.
60 game
Yeah.
players, and what your weaknesses really get amplified in the playoffs. And as great as Steph Curry is in the finals, they would just always pick on him. That was the offense. Let's run a pick and roll until we get Curry in there. And I just don't know if Monte can, be a productive player in the playoffs. I think there's a better path for PJ to get there.
Yeah, I don't even know if Steph is the best comp there because Steph was a starter and a main piece. But I do remember that the Warriors early on, like 2015, Livingston would murder every undersized point guard. And it was just kind of like, well, this second unit's not great, but Livingston just keeps posting up, whoever it is they throw at him. So I do think there is something to that where a team, if you run into the wrong team that has the perfect guy to be like, nope, Monte's canceled, then you're like, ugh.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I
Monte's
like
just such a great regular season option, though, too.
So great.
Like,
Which almost
he can
matters
just,
more.
He
yeah.
can just eat up minutes during the regular season, 25, 30 one night. We haven't seen PJ do that.
And specifically out of the backup point guard position, there is an actual debate which one's more valuable. I mean, like the playoffs matter more, but as Harrison keeps pointing out, we're talking 9 minutes a game. Right?
I do kind of feel like PJ Dozier is just going to be one of those guys that gets better every year for the next 10 years. Like he just seems to me like he has a lot of pieces there. The shot's not there, but all the other stuff is he can really be great at.
PJ's
Can I ask-
fascinating. Fascinating.
Can I ask
Yeah.
one more question about the Jordan doc?
Sure.
So you guys remember when Jordan jokes that he hopes Chuck Daly doesn't play more than 10 minutes?
Yeah.
I just wondered, it seems like all these foreign-born NBA players get a lot of pressure from their country to play in the Olympics, and they take a lot of pride in it. It doesn't really seem the same way about American fans caring about international basketball like that. I was wondering if that bothers you guys. Look at a guy like Melo. He's actually gone to the Olympics 4 times. Do you think that makes him look better, or do you think that's ingenuine because he's doing that to make up for no rings?
I think it makes Melo look better, but to your point, Peter, I agree. I mean, I just think there's not really stakes for the United States in this. Insofar, other than the fear of embarrassment, right? Like, we know the best players in the United States of America are the best players in the world. That's changing rapidly every day. But when we're talking about concentrations and collections of talent, that isn't really up for debate. So I think until the field catches up more and it really all gets more competitive, there's just not enough in it for United States basketball fans.
And I think these guys took a lot of pride. Jordan played in 88 or 84. Maybe it was 84. 84. And it was like he took pride in that one. And so I think for a lot of these guys, it's like, well, we're clearly so much better. What is there really to go out there and prove or whatever? And I know that has changed a little bit, but also the FIBA format, the shortened game, some of the rules, like it tries to level the playing field. I think American athletes take a lot of pride in winning, figure skating or gymnastics or whatever where there really is like the level of doubt. But at the NBA, it's like, all right, we're going to go there. And if we lose, it's terrible. And if we win, nobody cares. And
do you think that also like what we're like in the times that we're in, we're talking about like playing for a flag that you won't even necessarily put your hand over your heart for. There's something about like, particularly in the NBA, there's the luster of fighting for country has been lost a little bit, and that. I don't know where we go from there, but I do think that there's a little bit of that.
It's an interesting point there. That's an interesting.
I don't know if that's it though, because I do think that there's almost this different type of national pride that these guys do take, because they've talked like even the LeBrons and the Kobes have talked about it. It's like you take pride, especially in the sport, and America's the best sports or whatever. So it's almost separate from like,
but I'm saying like
American politics.
Right.
Things have changed over the last 10, 15 years. Like I do think that there's a little bit more in that.
I think the truth is actually that there's some huge marketing opportunities usually in the Olympics. That's the number one driving force for a lot of guys before every other thing. So anyway, thanks, Bucket. Let's Allie, we could hop out there. Before we bring on our final guest, though, let's Harrison, why don't you take us to our final ad read here for the steps?
Yeah, well,
make it sexy.
I've been telling you guys to bet on the Dinos. I mean, I've been doing what I can to help you guys win some money. 4-0.
You know what?
The Dinos.
2 W's. Is that true?
Swole Daddy's out here.
1 W.
Daddy is incredible.
Wait, are you guys all swole daddies? Are you all on the Dinos train?
Swole, baby.
I wish I was, man. I wish I was. But they beat down the LG Twins the other night. So I think they're playing tonight. I feel like the KBO, it's got a schedule that's pretty much like the MLB. So a lot of baseball to bet on. We got UFC this weekend, which we can bet on as well.
And I will.
And yeah, what you guys got to do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code DNVR when you sign up. For a limited time, all new users can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. $1,000 sign-up bonus.
Nice. We also have Denver-specific bets, which is awesome. That's the coolest thing. When the season returns for the Nuggets, we're going to get to create our own DNVR bets, which is going to be sweet.
Members, throw out some of your favorites. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, guys, remember, must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. Deposit bonus requires 25 times playthrough. Restrictions do apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Boom!
Hey, I'm going to get earnest for a second. Last episode, we laughed our way through the gambling problem part, but it's a real thing. And if you're feeling it, if you're feeling pressure, make that call. Like, we make a lot of jokes about gambling, and it's legal now, but it's a real thing some people are dealing with, so don't take that lightly. And we don't take it lightly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. Also, guys, Strava Craft Coffee, you can get 20% off when you use the code DNVR20. Make sure to do that online. I can't wait till cafes open up again and we can start drinking some Strava Craft coffee at our favorite cafes again. That's going to be glorious day. Glorious day. But remember, purchase online for 20% off using code DNVR20.
All right, Allie, let's bring on our final guest. It's a new one. Peter F.
Woo! Peter F. And the F is for?
Yo, what's up?
My last name.
Oh, fantastic. You're supposed to say phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal. Not how phenomenal spelled.
No, don't tell Lil Wayne that. What's up, brother?
First off, guys, say I love the show. Keep up the content you guys are doing. It's between you guys and the Broncos guys, I had to subscribe. So
we're way better than the Broncos guys, though.
Yeah,
appreciate it. Okay, come on.
Yeah, the Broncos. Yeah, you know.
I mean, we don't wear sunglasses indoors.
Right.
So.
I actually love the sunglasses.
It's a good bit. It's a good bit.
It's a phenomenal one. So I take it then that you are familiar with the steps.
Yeah, familiar. Not gonna lie, I'm probably not gonna get as far as some other people, and that's okay. I know where I stand, but I'm gonna give it a good shot here.
Can I tell you
Phenomenal does not have a helper today.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say that means that Eric can help him today.
Oh,
all right.
Good. Me and you, Peter F.
Let's do it, Eric.
I'll tell you what. Today's episode, they're all hard. This one's really hard.
Oh, great.
Perfect.
I'm out.
I picked the
do
easy ones already, so now it's the hard ones. It's like all level 13 questions. All right, without further ado, let's hop on. Question numero uno. What is Michael Malone's father's first name?
It's the same thing as Brendan.
Brendan.
Oh, that is correct.
Okay.
Still waiting for Malone to notice that, by the way. That's going to be my answer. Are you Irish? From the Northeast? Oh.
Question number 2. Which former Nuggets player had the nickname the Bosnian Beast?
I preferred the Bosnian Bear.
Yeah,
He did Bosnian Bear.
Eric knows this one again, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know this? Do you know this answer?
No, not off the top of my head. No.
Do you? If I said this guy's a total jerk and I hope he has a nice summer, would that?
Eric, you can just tell him the answer.
Yeah, you can just right. I was about to say.
It's Yusuf Nurkic.
Oh, Yusuf Nurkic. Okay.
That is correct.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Okay.
Number 3. Which Nuggets player is from the same country as Luka Doncic?
Let's see. Same country. Okay.
It's Slovenia.
I was to say Slovenia.
Eric, you could just help out, man.
And then
You're trying to
Vlaco? Chanchar?
Hey, correct.
Yeah, because I was about to say.
There we go. Number 4. Which member of the Denver Nuggets has an NCAA championship?
This is a tough one.
Oh,
Is it? Do you know? Yeah, look at.
So-
Vogt doesn't know over here.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hang on.
So you got to think, Peter, phenomenal. Who are the Nuggets players that went to schools that have a chance to win the NCAA tournament every year?
I so love that Eric's not helping.
I was going to say Gary Harris because he went to Michigan State.
Yeah, but no, that's not going to be it.
Yeah.
So he has brothers that are in the NBA. They all have oddly.
Mason
similar
Plumlee.
names.
Yeah, that is correct.
That's a Dookie, baby.
That is correct. Number 5. This one's for a sticker pack. Which team drafted Mason Plumlee?
I wonder if Eric knows this one.
I do know this one.
Dude, Eric's
money
on
gun.
fire.
He's got money guns.
Out. He says, easy questions.
Nemanya's been
questions.
talking shit for weeks.
Yeah.
We need to get him on here.
I know. What's going on, Nemanja? What the heck, dude?
It's Brooklyn, isn't it?
It's okay. I'll take it.
Brooklyn is correct. Eric, good
Yeah.
job.
Where's my sticker pack come?
Yeah, I was about to say I'll mail it to you. You can mail it to me and I'll mail it back.
So, do you want the sticker pack? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to risk it all to
Let's
see
go,
if Eric
Peter.
knows 5 more?
Let's go, Peter.
All right, let's do it, Eric.
Love it.
Love it. I love it.
Go big or go home, right?
Let's
Exactly.
go.
You might just be going home, but
This is
we
yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah. We're already home. What's the difference?
This is the start of the tough one. Rounding to the nearest whole number.
Oh shit.
Game 3 of the 2019 second round series between the Nuggets and Blazers went into 4 overtimes for a total of 68 minutes. How many minutes did Nikola Jokic play?
I think he played 1 hour. I think he played 60 minutes. I think it came
Of the 68?
Yeah.
That sounds really accurate. Let's say one. Yeah, we'll go 60.
Oh no! The losers are out of here.
Don't bring Eric back.
Out of here. Do we have any comments? Anybody in the comments know the right answer? No, it doesn't know this one.
It is
Nemanja, it's 65.
55.
65.
55.
65
Wow.
of 68. He sat for
Which,
3 minutes.
Which again,
it's insane. And I just remember, I think he was either a +1 or something, or a 0. I can't remember what it was. So he sat for 3 minutes. Nuggets got murdered, and then
and he came back the next night and almost dropped a triple-double.
He played the entire, I think, from his regular rest at the end of the first quarter. I think he played the rest of the game.
Eric, first time being booted from the steps.
Well, I get booted for various reasons in almost every show, but yeah, that one felt, because it was merit-based, a little more rough.
That one hurt a little bit more.
Well, you blew it, so.
I did. Yeah, that one's undeniable.
See, some people had it in the comments, so I know it couldn't have been that bad. There were a handful of people that had the answer, so.
Peter, hit me up. I'll send you a share. A guy had sticker packs for days.
Allie, do you want to hop on to sign off? Not today? No? She says no. All right. Allie did a great job producing.
Thanks, Allie.
All week. Makes it so much easier on all of us, and does a fantastic job. She produces all the stuff we do at DNVR. That's cool. So big shouts to her. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and hanging with us. I thought this was a very fun week of talking actual basketball. We'll be back on Monday. My buddy Patrick, MJ Mondays. And then next week, a full slate of guests. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. We'll see you all next time.
Celebrate my birthday this weekend.
Sorry, Peter. Peter, I'm sorry.